I smell you hobbits as you come back to Pocket Ronnie.
Okay, in the last lesson we were expanding stuff to the second and third power. Today we're going to be expanding to higher than third. And we'll be using Pascal's triangle. So the best thing I can tell you is to label this as your A term and then the second one as your B term. So A is 2x, B is 1. Now I'm going to write a formula for this. First off, to make a note, since we're raising to the 6th power, you will have 7 terms. You will always have one more term than the highest power. Okay, our highest power is 6, so we will have 7 terms. So to write out your formula, you start with your A's, because we're going to use A and B to write a formula. Our highest A, since we're raising to the 6th power, will be A to the 6th, and then we're going to count our A's down. A to the 6th, A to the 5th, A to the 4th, A to the 3rd, A squared, A to the 1st, A to the 0. Then our B's will count backwards from that. So here this would be B to the 6th, B to the 5th, and there's going to be a plus sign in between, B to the 4th, B cubed, B squared, B to the 1st, B to the 0. So everywhere I have a B to the 0 and A to the 0, that B to the 0 is like 1. My A to the 0 is 1. But now I've got to put in coefficients in between each one of these terms. So there's a plus sign there, plus sign there. There's a plus sign after each one of these. And I should have 7 terms, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But now I've got to put in my coefficients. And my coefficients, I am going to find those from Pascal's triangle. If you go down to the Pascal's triangle to the 6th power, then you should have these coefficients. 1, 6, 15, 20. I didn't leave no space for none of my numbers. 15, 6, and 1. I apologize if my numbers are squeezed in there. So this is the formula that we're going to follow. But we're going to use, everywhere we see an A, we're going to put in 2x. Everywhere we see a B, we're going to put in 1. So here's what I have. 1 times, I don't even have to write the 1. 1 times anything is just itself. So here I have A to the 6th with 1 times 1. So everywhere I see an A, I'm going to put in 2x. So 2x, and make sure you put parentheses around this whole thing, because this is 2x to the 6th. It's like 2x times 2x times 2x 6 times. Okay? So put parentheses all around 2x. Plus, now here's my 6. 6 times A to the 5th. A is 2x to the 5th. B, my B is 1 to the 1st. Plus 15 times A, which is 2x to the 4th. To the 4th. B, which is 1 squared. Because this is 15 times A to the 4th times B squared. 15 times A to the 4th times B squared. Plus 20 times A cubed times B cubed. Plus 15 times A squared 1 to the 4th. Plus, I'm going to come down to my next line, plus, we're at the 6, 6, A to the 1st, which is 2x to the 1st, and then B to the 5th, 1 to the 5th. I can even write, if I want to write my 1 to the 5th with that outside the parentheses, that's okay as well. Plus, and now I'm down to here, 1 times A to the 0 was 1, and then B to the 6, B is 1 to the 6th. So let me make sure I've got 7 terms in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, now I'm ready to simplify with each term. Okay, so 2x to the 6th. So this is, I have to do 2 to the 6th and x to the 6th. 2 to the 6th, 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16, times 2 is 32, times 2 is 64. Okay, I just need to make sure I got it correct. So 2 to the 6th is 64, and then x to the 6th. Here, I'm just going to simplify each thing. I'm going to leave my 6 plus 6, and then I'm going to do 2 to the 5th. Okay, 2 to the 5th, I just went through that, would be 32. So I have to do my 2 to the 5th and my x to the 5th power. Both things need to be raised to the 5th power. So 2 to the 5th is 32, and then x to the 5th. This is 6 times 2x to the 5th times 1 to the 1st. So 6 times, here's my 2x raised to the 5th power, and then 1 to the 1st power is just 1. I don't really have to write that, but I'm just going to go ahead and write it. Plus 15. I'm going to go ahead and simplify my 2x to the 4th. So I have to do my 2 to the 4th and then x to the 4th. 2 to the 4th, 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. So that'd be 16x to the 4th. 1 squared is just 1 times 1 plus 20. And then 2x cubed. The 2 has to be cubed and the x is cubed. 2 cubed is 8. And then x cubed. And then 1 cubed is just 1. Okay, I'm going to go to my next line. Plus, I was at this point, 15 times 2x squared. 15 times 2x squared, I have to square the 2 and the x. So that would be 4x squared. And then 1 to the 4th is just 1. So this is all, everything is multiplied. Up here in your formula, everything is multiplied in each little term. 15 times this times this. Okay, now we're at this point. 6 times 2x to the 1st. 2x to the 1st is just 2x. 1 to the 5th is still 1. Now I'm at this. 1 to the 6th is 1 times 1 is just 1. Now let's simplify with in each term. Keep simplifying. So here, there's nothing to do here, so that will be 64x to the 6th. Let's combine all of our numbers now, because this means 6 times 32x to the 5th times 1. Numbers to numbers and letters to letters. So I can just say 6 times 32 times x to the 5th times 1. So, because 32x to the 5th means 32 times x to the 5th. So, 6 times 32 times 1. So 6 times 32 is 192. And then we just leave the x to the 5th. Now let's come over here plus, this means 15 times 16 times x to the 4th times 1. So let's just combine all of our numbers together. 15 times 16. 240 times 1. And then you still have your x to the 4th. Combining our numbers, 20 times 80, 160, x cubed. Now come down to here, 15 times 4 should be 60, x squared. 6 times 2 times x times 1, combining our numbers. 6 times 2 is 12, plus 12x, and then my last thing is 1. This should be your final answer. Here are some things to check. We said we should have 7 terms. Do we have 7 terms? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We had a positive up here, which means we're in a positive world and all of our signs should be positive. The other thing to check is your highest exponent should be a 6. My highest exponent is a 6, and so my exponents would count down. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, none. So therefore I have all of my terms together. Okay, now we're doing 10b number 4, 1/2 x plus 1/2 y all raised to the 4th power. Again, we're going to call this one our a and then this one our b. So everywhere we see an a, we're going to put in 1/2 x. Everywhere we see a b, we're going to put in 1/2 y. I want to do this to show you how to work with the fractions. So let's write out our formula. We should have, because this is a 4, then we should have 5 terms. 5 terms. 5 will be one more than your highest exponent. Our highest exponent when we start writing this out is a 4 because we're raising to the 4th power. So when we write out A, our highest A will be to the 4th. Now our A's will count down. A cubed, A squared, A to the 1st, A to the 0. Our B's will count backwards. Our highest B will be to the 4th because that's the 4th power. Then we count backwards, B cubed, B squared, B to the 1st, B to the 0. I don't think I pointed this out in the last problem, but if you look at your exponents, both of these should add up to 4. 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. Your exponents will always add up to whatever your highest exponent is. Okay? There is a plus sign in between each one of these terms. And then now we're ready to go to Pascal's triangle to put in our coefficients. So you go to the 4th power for Pascal's triangle, and the coefficients are 1, 4, 6, 4, 1. Okay, now we're ready to put in our numbers from our actual problem. We said everywhere we see an A, we're going to put in 1/2 to the x. So here we have 1 times 1/2 x, now I put that whole thing in parentheses, raised to the 4th power. B to the 0 is just 1, plus 4 times 1/2 x raised to the 4th power, and then 1/2 y, because B is 1/2 y to the 1st power, plus 6 times 1/2 x to the 2nd power, we're putting in for A, and then for B we put in 1/2 y raised to the 2nd power. Okay, now we're on this term, plus 4, and then A is 1/2 x raised to the 1st power, B is 1/2 y raised to the 3rd power, now we're here, plus 1 times, A to the 0 is 1, we can put a 1 there if you want to, if that makes you feel better, times B, which is 1/2 y raised to the 4th power. Okay, that's where that comes from. Now let's simplify each term. So to say we should have 5 terms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. After every plus sign you call it a term. This is a term. After the plus sign, this whole thing is a term. Then a term, term, term. Alright, now let's simplify each term. So right here we are 1 times. We have to do 1/2 x to the 4th. Each thing has to be to the 4th power. 1/2 to the 4th means I will do 1 to the 4th and 2 to the 4th. 1/2 to the 4th means 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2. That is 1 to the 2 times 2 is 4 times 2 is 8, 16. Okay, that would be 1/16 x to the 4th plus 4 times, that should be 1/2 cubed. 1/2 cubed. So cube the 1/2 and cube the x. So that would be 1/8 x cubed. Because 1/2 cubed is 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2, which is 1/8 cubed. Now here's my 1/2 y plus 6 times 1/2 squared. 1/2 squared is 1/2 times 1/2, which is 1/4, and then x squared, plus 1/2 y squared, which would be 1/4 y squared, plus 4 times 1/2 x to the 1st, just 1/2 x, 1/2 y cubed. Cube the 1/2 and cube the y, which would be 1/8 y cubed, plus, we're down to this one, 1 times 1 is just 1, times this is itself, so 1/2 y to the 4th, 1/2 to the 4th, y to the 4th. 1/2 to the 4th would be 1/16 y to the 4th. Okay, so that last term is just plus 1/16 y to the 4th. Nothing else to simplify there. Now let's go back to the beginning. We're at this term. 1/16 x to the 4th times 1 is just 1/16 x to the 4th. Okay, it's just a 1/16 coefficient in front of x to the 4th. Plus 4 times 1/8 times x cubed times 1/2 times y. Numbers to numbers, letters to letters. So if I put this 4 over the 1, 4 times 1/8, okay, times 1/2. If I multiply it all the way across, 4 times 1, my numerator would be 4. My denominators, 1 times 8 times 2 is 16. You need to reduce that. Yes, you can cancel up here. You can do that first, and that's okay. 4/16 reduces down to 1/4. Okay, reduce all fractions. So that reduces down to 1/4. And then, so we did all of our numbers. Now we have x cubed times y. So you just write it as x cubed y. Okay, now we're here plus 6 times 1/4 times 1/4. Make this like 6 over 1. Numbers to numbers, letters to letters. In your numerator, you have 6 times 1 times 1, which is 6. In your denominator, 1 times 4 is 4 times 4 is 16. Okay, you can reduce 6/16. You can reduce them both by 2, and that would be 3/8. 3/8. And then your letters to letters, x squared times y squared, we just write it as x squared times y squared. Plus 4, let's put this over 1. Multiply your numbers to numbers, all your numerators together. 4 times 1 times 1. 4 times 1 is 4, times 1 is still 4. Your denominators, 1 times 2 times 8 would be 16. Again, we can reduce 4/16. 4/16 is 1/4. Letters to letters, x times y cubed. This cube should have been inside there. 1/8 y cubed. X times y cubed is just x y cubed. Because at this point it's just 4 times 1/2 times x times 1/8 times y cubed. So I just leave parentheses to separate my numbers. So here at this term, there was nothing else to simplify in that term. So some things that I checked for. Do I have 5 terms? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, I should have 5 terms. My highest exponent is going to be a 4. And since my x is first, my highest exponent will be on the x first. So I can come down here. Yes, my highest exponent is on my x and it's 4. So if I look at my x's, they should count down. 4, 3, 2, 1, no x's. The y ones will count backwards. 4, 3, 2, 1, and no y's. So your very first one, your first variable, they will count down starting with this highest number. Your second variable will count backwards, and this will be the highest exponent will be on the last term. So make sure all your fractions are reduced, and just be careful when you're multiplying fractions together. Numerators to numerators and denominators to denominators. One other thing to notice in your answer is that we raised to the 4th power. In your answer, each one of these exponents will also add up to 4. This is a 4, 3, and that's a 1 on there, that adds up to 4. 2, 2 adds up to 4. This x has a 1 and a 3, and that adds up to 4, and this exponent here is 4. So when you have multiple variables or multiple letters in each of your terms, those exponents should also add up to 4. Okay, we're doing 10e2, x minus 4 raised to the 5th power. I want to do this one because it has a subtraction sign. Remember, this is your A, this is your B. The important thing is the sign in front of the number goes with the number. Everywhere we see a B, we will put in -4. So let's write out our formula. So how many terms are we going to have? 1 more than that. So that tells me I'm going to have 6 terms. My highest exponent will be to the 5th. So I'm going to start with A. I'm going to start with writing my formula with A's and B's. So A, the highest, will be to the 5th since we're raising to the 5th power. And my A's will count down. So then A to the 4th, A cubed, A squared, A to the 1st, A to the 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's going to make my 6 terms. My b's will count backwards. So the highest b will be to the 5th, b to the 4th, b cubed, b squared, b to the 1st, b to the 0. Each of these set of exponents should add up to 5. 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. Okay? Each of these is going to have a plus sign behind it or after it. And then we'll put in our numbers from Pascal's triangle. So go down to the 5th power on Pascal's triangle, and these are your coefficients in front. 1, 5, 10, 10, 5, 1. I was making sure I got my numbers correct from Pascal's triangle. Alright? Now we are ready to put in x and -4 for a and b. So everywhere I see an a, I'm going to put an x. Everywhere I see a b, I'm going to put in -4. And we've got to keep up with our negatives. Okay? So this first term, I have 1 times a to the 5th. A is x, so x to the 5th. B to the 0 is just 1. You can write it if you want to. Plus 5, a is x, x to the 4th, times b, which is -4 to the 1st, plus 10 times a is x cubed, b is -4, and that's squared. This is why it's important to have your negative in the parentheses, because then your exponent is going to help determine do you have a positive or negative number. Now we're at 10, a is x squared, b is -4 cubed, plus, I'm going to go down here, 5 times x to the 1st times b is -4 to the 4th power, plus 1 times a is x to the 0. Actually, that could just be 1. So we can just rewrite that as 1. And then b is -4 to the 5th power. Now let's go back and multiply some of this stuff out. 1 times 1 is 1 times x to the 5th is just x to the 5th. Okay, here we need to do numbers to numbers, letters to letters. -4, this should not be a negative, that should just be first. -4 to the 1st power, not negative first. That was a mistake on my part. No negative exponents in this. That should not have been a negative exponent. -4 to the 1st is just -4. Now combine our numbers to numbers. 5 times -4, because this means 5 times x to the 4th times -4. Numbers to numbers, letters to letters. So 5 times -4 is -20. So now I've got a -20 there. X to the 4th is just x to the 4th. Okay? Here, -4 squared is a positive 16. Okay? That's -4 times -4. So -4 squared is a positive 16 times 10 is 160. 16 times 10 is 160. A positive 160. X to the 3rd is just x cubed. Now we're over here. -4 cubed. Is that going to be a positive or negative? That is -4 times -4 times -4. A negative times a negative times a negative is a negative. And 4 cubed is 64. And 64 times 10 is 640. So this should be a -64. Okay, negative times a negative times a negative is a -64 times 10 is a -640. And then x squared is just x squared. Well, now we're here. -4 to the 4th. Okay, that's going to end up being a positive because we have an even number that's -4 times -4 times -4 times -4. Okay, so -4 to the 4th is a positive 256. So here this is 5 times x to the 1st times a positive 256. 256 times 5 is a positive 1,280 because it's turned out to be a positive times a positive, and x to the 1st is just x to the 1st. Here we have -4 to the 5th. So this is a odd number, so it's going to turn out to be a negative because we have a -4 times a -4 times a -4 times a -4 times a -4. You have an odd number, so it's going to end up being a negative. And then to the 5th power is going to be negative 1024. Negative 4 to the 5th is negative 1024 times 1 is still that. So we've simplified everything, so let's check. We said we should have 6 terms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do our x's count down? Our highest x, we're raising to the power of 5, so our highest should be to the power of 5, and do they count down? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, no x's. We don't even have to put a 1 there. Now the fact that we have the subtraction sign here, our signs will alternate. Negative, positive, negative, positive, negative. And they do alternate, and that's a good thing. So this is your final answer.